It's a dig site. And the thing is, if you get to come to the Creation Museum, once we get it completed this spring, one of the first exhibits we're going to have is what we call the dig site. It's actually two paleontologists around a dig site where they're digging up a velociraptor. One's a Christian and one's an evolutionist. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you how those worldviews determine their interpretation of the evidence. But see, what they're doing right now is digging up a dead thing. They're digging up a fossil. Now, when you dig up a fossil, are you digging up the past or the present? Past? Who says the present? Okay, the present has it. You're digging up the present. You can't dig up the past. It's gone. It's past. If you dig up a fossil, you have it when? Now. Do you have it yesterday? You may have had it yesterday, but you have it now. This is not hard. So the thing is, for things in the past, you have to make assumptions. You can look at it here. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Does it come with a label that says, hi, I'm 65 million years old? No. You know it's dead. You know what it is. You know where you found it, but that doesn't necessarily mean it died there, et cetera, et cetera. So you have to make assumptions. So be very, very careful when you start talking about this is obviously 135 million years old, things like that, because you have to make assumptions to come to those conclusions. Now, the one thing I've noticed about paleontologists, they're very creative people. Now, we have totally intact specimens of lots of different kinds of dinosaurs. Some of the sauropods. I think there's something like 26 T-Rexes. I think it's in the 20s, because originally I'd heard 8, but we had a guy that came to the ministry a couple of months ago, and he's spent the last 10 years going to all the major museums in the world and cataloging the fossils, and I think we're in the mid-20s on T-Rexes, but that's I don't have that on paper, but we've got a lot of dinosaurs that are very complete skeletons. And the thing that I have to do as I do this ministry is I have to read a lot of books about dinosaurs, and it'll tell you where they found this kind of dinosaur and where the fossils were concentrated. And sometimes I have like a drawing of the skeleton, and sometimes they're honest enough to actually color in the bones they've actually found. Now I want to show you how creative some of these people are. The Arctosaurus is known from one piece of backbone. Now, I got to tell you, you got one piece of backbone, you build a whole dinosaur out of it and tell me where it lived and what it ate and how fast it ran, that's pretty good. Now, I don't know who named this next one, the Colonosaurus. That guy must have been having a bad day. Known from a jaw that may have come from a bird. Now, the Diplodocus was known from one tooth. Now, the Chickenosaurus, we know a whole lot about it. We had 4 teeth. So we know 4 times as much about that. Now, built a whole dinosaur out of 4 teeth. This is the Embarrassosaurus, which is known from pieces of backbone. In the Apiosaurus, we have 1 arm bone. And this comes from the Field Guide to Dinosaurs. So they take one little piece of bone, they make a whole dinosaur out of it. Remember Nebraska Man? I believe that was the one. It was the pig's tooth. It turned out to be. And they built a whole person out of it. And it had fire and used tools. And it turned out it wasn't even a man. Some of these people are very creative. So be very, very careful with some of these. We don't have very much evidence. Some we have totally intact skeletons. Don't get me wrong. But some of these we have very little evidence of. So the things they're digging up sometimes very, very, very small fragments. We got big dinosaurs like the sauropods. We either got little bitty dinosaurs or a real tall girl. I'm not sure, I don't have anything to scale on this. And the thing is, there's a lot of varieties among dinosaurs. Like the Triceratops, you've got all sorts of variations among them, but it's still in the Triceratops family. So you got all sorts of different changes in the frill and in the horn structure, but these are all basically Triceratops. You got the sauropods. But when you boil it all down, we only got about 50 kinds of dinosaurs. There really aren't that many dinosaur kinds. Dinosaurs come from what? You know, we didn't know that until about 100 years ago. That was presumed by the scientists up to that time, since these reptile-looking creatures, but we didn't have any hard evidence of it because pretty much all we had was bones. What they did, they were out on a dinosaur hunt and they found fossilized dinosaur eggs. Now, what if we just found fossilized eggs? Would that have told us anything? But you know what we found inside those eggs? Fossilized dinosaurs. See, that's real science. That's something where you make a scientific presumption or you make a scientific observation, and it's real. If those had just been empty eggs, you wouldn't know what the creatures were. But inside these eggs, you find fossilized T-Rexes and fossilized whatever kinds of dinosaurs. So that's how they actually proved that dinosaurs laid eggs. And they actually got that right in the movie. Remember that scene where that little motorized arm is turning the eggs over? And it's also... Now, this next scene I don't understand. Would you pet a snapping turtle? Oh, isn't it cute? I mean, this thing eats Jeeps when it grows up. And this guy's like petting it on the beak and everything. I don't understand that. I mean, I wouldn't get within 100 feet of that thing. Before you have a big stegosaurus, you have a what? You have a little stegosaurus. A T-Rex egg is about the size of a football. So before it's 18 feet tall, it's how tall? It's a foot tall. This is not rocket science. And this is supposed to be real cute, and you're supposed to go, oh, look at the dinosaurs, but they're coming out of the eggs. Listen to this kid. You know that kid, and I'm not even in the movie. But the thing is, this kid is like one little bundle of evolutionary indoctrination. I read your book. You really think dinosaurs turned into birds? You'll hear that theme all through this movie. That's the predominant thread, is that dinosaurs turned into birds, and that's where they went. And the last scene in the movie, next time you watch it, because this guy hates the kids, right? And then he runs through the jungle and gets away from the T-Rex, and he learns to love them. He's sitting in the helicopter, and the kids are asleep on his shoulder, and he looks out the window, and he sees these birds flying, and you can just hear the wheels turning. Oh, these are the creatures we just ran away from. This whole evolutionary concept. And this kid's talking about the meteor that hit and the Yucatan Peninsula and all the diamond dust and where all the dinosaurs go. This kid is just a whole encyclopedia of evolutionary indoctrination. Feathered Dinosaurs by Christopher Sloan. This is a whole informatics package about something that doesn't exist. There are no feathered dinosaurs. Not a few, not an occasional one, none. Zero. Nada. But you will notice National Geographic, the creationist friend, feathered dinosaurs. National Geographic is good for the maps. If you need a map of Bolivia, you won't find a better source than National Geographic. If it says dinosaurs evolution 8 men, run. This is why. We can now say that birds are theropods just as confidently as we can say that humans are mammals. This is National Geographic. This is a fossil, if you will, of an intermediate form of a dinosaur turning into a bird. We're just as confident as we can be. It's a missing link between terrestrial dinosaurs and birds that could actually fly. You know what the problem with it was? It was a fraud. It was a fake dinosaur fossil. As it turned out, another publication had access to this fossil before National Geographic, and they turned it down. National Geographic was just as confident as they could be that we found the missing link between dinosaurs and birds. They published it. Then they found out about birds. They found out about crows. They'd eat one. And it was bad tasting, I'm sure. It was a fake. But it was presented as just as factual as it could be. This is the Humiosaurus.